Welcome to Soul Elevation, guiding your ascension to new heights. I'm your host, Kara Goodwin. I just finished recording this episode with Pamela Downes, and she had such valuable insights to share. She talks about her own spiritual awakening experiences and processes, and she shares some really startling insights from the Great Council of Light that she regularly channels. They share that massive changes are coming for humanity, and not everyone is going to be able to handle it. We cover a lot of fascinating ground in this episode, so buckle up. Pamela Downes is a multidimensional soul-body healer, trance-channeler, and spiritual guide who works with the Great Council of Light to support humanity's awakening. Through her gentle yet powerful healing work, she helps people clear energetic imprints carried across lifetimes, restore their soul's natural architecture, and realign with their divine blueprint. Pamela connects with personal spirit guides and loved ones in spirit, delivering channeled guidance that feels warm, grounding, and deeply clarifying. Her gift lies in translating higher dimensional wisdom into practical, embodied insight that helps people release outdated identities, awaken their intuitive intelligence, and step into their highest expression. We'll begin very shortly, but first I want to invite you to explore everything available for you at karagoodwin.com. Be sure to get my book, Your Authentic Awakening, to support your spiritual journey. And you'll also find a selection of free guided meditations to strengthen your spiritual side. And I want to say thank you for supporting the show. Your likes, comments, shares, and subscriptions genuinely help this work reach more people. When you engage, you help uplift the frequency of the content and make it easier for others to find these conversations. So go ahead and hit the like button while you're thinking about it. All right, let's begin. Enjoy this episode. Welcome, Pamela. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you today. Thanks so much for coming on Soul Elevation.
Oh, gosh, I'm so excited to be with you today and to have our conversation. I've been looking forward to it.
Me too. I want to start by talking about how you got into the work that you're doing today, because sometimes people have always been connected and they have stories from when they were little and they were seeing things people couldn't see. And then other times people are like, I trained myself to do this. I didn't
Yeah,
even know I could do it. So where do you
yeah.
fall in this?
I am in the latter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's such an interesting question because, as you're moving through the spiritual journey and your soul is elevating, right? You're going on the evolution of your soul. You're experiencing it real time. You're understanding it more and more, which each step that you take, each moment, each experience that expands you. And I never really understood how important it was to my story until recently to say that I was self-taught. Like it didn't come from anywhere else. I can say that it came partly from my higher self and a future version of myself and an aspect of myself in another space of time and time.
I love
But
that. Yeah.
yeah, right. And that didn't start till this year for me saying that. But I grew up as a creative, so I naturally was intuitive, but I was also kind of like riddled with self-esteem issues and had anxiety and was in, contrast and all kinds of things that we all have, on our journey. And I didn't really have a powerful like voice and empoweredness inside of me, but I did have that thread of creativity and music and art that like became my place where I went to find like solace, to recede from whatever was happening around me, and I can say now, to connect, to spirit, to be inspiration, to be in spirit. And my music for a very long time in my life, until I went to college, was my thing. And then I was also creative with art. And when I went to art school and I had to figure out what I wanted to be when I grow up, like this wasn't it, by the way. Right?
You didn't go to art school to learn how to be an evidential medium?
Right, exactly. Right. It's so funny. No, I didn't. But I did have to choose between art or music. And that I remember was like the first time I had to like pull down from that resource of my higher self and say, I think I'm tired of doing music so rigidly because I was in classical and I was trained at a conservatory. And it was just like, it was a big part of my life for a very long time. And then I was like, I think I want to discover this art thing. So that's really the decision that chose my career path. And, as you travel through your life, as you go through the seasons, as you go through the decades, you start to understand who you are and, how you're showing up in the world, how you're perceived by others, where your strengths are, what you're really good at, what you're not good at. And I became, good at being a leader on a team. I became good at being in graphic design. I worked in magazines. I managed teams and budgets and editors and like all kinds of people. And that was a training ground for me to move into entrepreneurship in the year 2000. So I still wasn't in a spiritual space, but I was listening because that pull to jump out of, a corporate or a contained environment into the pool of opportunity, possibility, what I could create and what I was pulling on, that thread of what's here today. I didn't know any of that, but I was stepping into that place of, what can I create and how can I do this? Spirituality came after that. Isn't that interesting?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was that thread that was pulling through the whole time, as you
Yeah.
said. But it is really interesting how you weren't maybe consciously doing
Right.
that. So, at what point did you start shifting your focus to deliberately being more engaged with spiritual work?
Yeah. The work came as kind of like an after, not a symptom, but a result of traveling the spiritual awakening journey. And this is what, like, I'm the living example to the people that I work with, because when you start to have this expanded view of your reality, of your world, of your beliefs, of your small system, of your big system, everything starts to change, right? And so you approach this with a new sense of, who am I? How do I fit into this? Because I was in a container for a very long time. We all are, until we start to have the expansion. And when I started traveling on the spiritual awakening journey in a new way, sort of a different version of that other season, now it was like the spiritual part of me wanted to be, looked upon and expanded and pulled upon. I started discerning, what do I believe in? What are my truths? What do I want to bring to my children? And I was having big questions and I wanted big answers. And the answers that I was getting, they didn't work because it just didn't fit. And so I was on this path to discover the new things. And at the same time, my marriage was breaking down. At the same time, our whole entire world was changing. There was a recession. At the same time, I lost my friends. We lost our retirement. We lost our house. So I have what I call a knockdown. Everything comes down in a completely different way. And your reality is, once again, created for you to explore more of yourself. And through that exploration, discernment, uncovering my truths, my spirit was expanding. It was rising in frequency. Then I started like my healing journey, because we all want to dive into the buckets of, ooh, what's Reiki? Ooh, what's Akashic Records? Ooh, what's this? What's that? And we start doing, which is actually being, which we don't know it. And through that, Kara, that was there's a rapid expansion happening now. I'm watching people awaken to their gifts so quickly. But my story took many years, and it was traveled upon, and it was curating me and molding me like a piece of clay, like a piece of art. And through the awakening, through the spiritual journey, through the healing, my gifts were starting to open up a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. So I was getting knowings. I was getting little bits of communication. I was having dreams. My deceased father was coming through. And I was learning the law of attraction, and like the right people would come into the right place at the right time and the right opportunities. And like all these things started happening, and the universe, spirit guides, whomever, who all were there conspiring for me, were giving me these profound moments of expansion that I could not deny. Like when you have like a tremendous heart chakra opening that makes you howl and cry in the middle of a Reiki share, and there's all these people everywhere. Like you're like, I didn't create that. Like that was created for me. Let me discover more. Let me discover more. And that's what happened. I started raising my frequency and healing. And I had this profound knowing that I was supposed to do ayahuasca. Now, I hadn't dabbled in any of that, nor were people around me doing it. It wasn't something like I was experienced in. I'm not a daredevil to try different things. Like that wasn't me. I had 2 kids. I just went through divorce. I was trying to maintain a life for them and, hold a business together and all the things. So this ayahuasca thing came up, and it was like, I saw this video of this man. He made this center, this whole thing. And I was like, I'm going there. I don't know how I'm going there. I'm not sure when I'm going there, but I just so know that I'm going there. And I started speaking my truth, speaking it. And by way of, how I was showing up in my life and saying yes to different things and doing trade with different people, this person came into my life. I did trade with him through someone else. And I got invited to this symposium from my branding and marketing firm that I had up like for 20 years at that point. And I walked in the room, and he was on the other side of the room, this leader of this business I was working for. And I walked up to him so excited. And I said, oh my God, hi, we haven't met yet. I'm Pamela. It's so nice to meet you. And he turned around, he looked at me. We looked at each other. This energy came through both of our heads, out our hearts. I went, woom, woom, woom. And I had one of those moments again. And he looked at me and he said, do you feel that? And I said, I do. And I couldn't even function like the rest of the meeting. I was trying to focus. Like it was just this incredible experience. Well, I wound up connecting with him afterwards. We became really good friends. And he is on this group, and someone who's on the board of the center that I had seen in the movie is a part of his group. And they were closing down the entire center and just inviting a small group of people to go do ayahuasca in this beautiful, beautiful high frequency container. So I didn't need to figure it out. Like Spirit scooped me up and said, here, we know you need to do this because you have a huge mission. And by the way, COVID's around the corner and everybody's going to expand. And you need to start expanding in a different way. And you need to be in a high frequency space because of your sensitivities and who I am. That's what really shifted everything. That was in November of 2019. I did a week-long plant medicine journey. I healed all kinds of past life trauma, all kinds of this life trauma, all kinds of realizations of situations, understandings of experiences in my childhood. I cleared and pulled energetic DNA strands from my children to help in their generation. I mean, profound, amazing stuff. By the time that week-long journey was over, we're in the jungle, it's high frequency. We're eating vegan, it's high frequency. Cleared all this trauma, it's high frequency, high frequency. We did a breathwork class. And at the end of the breathwork class, this white light shot through my eye, filled up, through my third eye, filled up my entire body. And it was like, and my body was like, my teeth were chattering. And I lost my breath and I was crying, and they're going around with like a microphone, to ask everyone their experience. And I was like, I didn't say I wanted to share. I just was having like this experience. And I heard in that moment when the white light came and the whole thing happened, I felt love source energy like permeate my entire being. I heard your psychic abilities have been enhanced. Everything from this moment forward will be different. And that's what happened. I came home to this concrete jungle, to this like world. And a couple months later, COVID hit and the whole world changed and our entire work lives changed. We all had different schedules and new banks of time and new realizations about our world. Like it was just such an interesting space. And I had custody with my kids every other week. So I had this bank of time. I was able to sit every morning and look out these windows in my living room to the wooded area in front of me and say to whomever was a part of all of this, bringing me to this here and now, including what happened in Costa Rica, I want to co-create, collaborate. I want to explore. I want to learn more. I want to do more of what I have been doing, what I just did. I want to do more. And I always say to the people I work with, like, some people say, well, I'll go to bed and I meditate when I'm sleeping. And I say, no, you can't be a lazy friend. Like, you got to like set an intention. You got to set a space, a time, and really sit with an open heart, expanded awareness, saying, I want to do this together. I want to co-create this and create the safe container and all the things that you need along wherever you are on your journey. And that's what I did. I started having experiences with these beautiful, effervescent, feminine, I knew they were feminine beings, and they were buoyant and they were light and easy and loving. And they would come in and I would feel them. And when that would happen, I knew I was going to do deep, deep, deep soul clearing, like past life clearing. And so I would go through the past life. I would see it. I would experience it. I would have the physical experience of it. I'd have to release that from my body. I'd have to release the emotion from my body. I'd have to release the experience from my body in this here and now. And every time I did that, I did it many, many times over many, many months. I kept raising my frequency. And it was, people say, weren't you scared? At that point in my life, I had so much evidence that I was held, that I was supposed to do this. Every nugget I received. And there were times when I was scared, yes, because I was expanding so rapidly and I didn't have a community like I built. I didn't have that around me. I didn't really have mentors who were going through this. I had one person who had experienced something with me and was trying to guide me, but like I couldn't have her on speed dial 24/7, you know? And I just did and knew I was doing what I needed to do at the time. And through that, I started having experiences with all different kinds of beings, with all different kinds of frequencies, with all different kinds of energies, with light language, with ETs, with angelics, with really super low vibratory beings, demonic beings. I had it all. I had it all. And I wasn't sure why I had it when I had it. And there were times when I was really scared, but I had to form this like picture, the whole entire picture of everything. I had to experience the low, the mid, like every part of it to understand the vibrant and frequency, vibration and frequency of the council, to be able to have that because it's an ecosystem. It's a part of a whole. And one day I was sitting there and I this like swirling, you know, I have my eyes closed and I'm in this space and this swirling like thread of golden, like light was spiraling down like almost like a mini tornado. And I was just sitting there, you know, I was channeling. I had started like bringing in beings and feeling the ETs, feeling the density of their body, like what they were shaped like, what they felt like, what their language felt like, how it sounded. I would draw it, I would record it. And one day this spiraling energy came down and it went right into me. And that was the first transmission of the council because they're so high frequency and I wasn't really there. I wasn't there yet, but we were able to have like
this is the Great Council of Light, right?
that I channel. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
These are the beings that I channel, that I am like working with continually and that I share messages of love, support, and guidance of, and that I work with in containers with one-on-one people. Like they have told me I'm an incarnate aspect of them. And there are many people that are part of that as well. And it took me a while, like this whole journey took me a while to be able to say that to you, to say it to anyone. It was like until recently. But as I was having this connection with them, I was getting visions, I was getting downloads, and I woke up in the middle of the night in 2020 and I heard spirit calling. And at this point, I had a pad by my bed. I had a recording device, like I had it all. And I wrote it down in the middle of the night. And then that morning, I bought the domain and I bought the URL and I just kind of like, you know, put it aside. Over the course of a year, I kept hearing, as I was doing what I just told you, I'm working with them and channeling messages and experiencing them. I kept hearing, there will be a glass ceiling that will break. The world that we know will change. overnight. The world that everyone knows will change overnight. People will stop in their tracks. They won't know who and what it is that they have believed in. It's currently happening right now. And they will need a safe place to land. You need to build a portal. You need to build a portal. And I'm like, what is a portal? I build websites. I build marketing pieces, And at the time, I merged my marketing firm that I had for 18 years in with a client of mine, and we started a new business. So I was like, doing all of that. And meanwhile, spirits like, the guys are like, it's time to build the portal. It's time to build the portal. I'm like, no, not now. So for a year, they kept saying that. Finally, at the end of a year, they showed me the logo. That I had a vision of a little iPhone, and this little wings came down and landed on it. I woke up. I had to check something for someone, and I went to GoDaddy, and I saw Spirit Calling, and it was like that moment. It was like, this is it. This is a portal. This is it. This is the whole kit and caboodle. So I ran my marketing firm, and I launched Spirit Calling simultaneously. I said to them finally one day, they're like this, build it. I said, finally one day, fine. Like, send me the people, send me the money, send me all the pieces, and I will be your humble servant. I will do it. And, the only thing that I had in my life that was really had any value to me was my home and the equity in my home, because I had come from the recession. I had gotten divorced. I had lost everything. And the day that they asked me to take the equity out of my house to do that, it was like, are you kidding me? Really? You want me to get that uncomfortable?
Wow.
After you told me there's going to be a housing market crash, after you told me that there's going to be a stock market crash, after you told me there's going to be a war, after you told me that like all these things are coming to our world, you want me to take this risk? Okay. And I did it. And I met this person who helped me express my spiritual awakening journey, all the things that I experienced on my path so that I could help other people. That launched in January of 2024, and I ran both companies. And right now, in 2 weeks, I will be a free woman. I sold my company in January to my business partner. Yeah.
Wow.
And that took like 8 months. Like, that took forever. And it's not really public until the end of March. But I am now, since January, been leading this 100% of the time, and everything that they have asked me to do. Start a mastermind. Okay, what are we doing? I don't know. You're going to create a container and you're going to do it. Okay, start soul path coaching. What is that? You're going to figure it out, and you're going to do it in real time. So I'm holding containers for them. And last 6 months, I've started doing this deep. I've been getting downloads of technology, doing this deep soul healing soul bodies, activating light codes, activating DNA, getting rid of fractures and tarnishes, so to speak, on the soul body, and helping people heal and raise their frequency. And that's my job, is to be the living example, to create a space for people, and to teach people how to raise their frequency and to know they're powerful creator beings, beautiful beings of light that are connected to all that is. Like, it's that simple.
That is amazing. What a beautiful, beautiful journey you've had, and you convey it so wonderfully because there are so many facets to it. I mean, it's not all
Yeah.
up and up and up and up and up. There was a
Yeah.
lot of trust, there was a lot of falling, there was a lot of all the different aspects and facets of it. And I really loved what you talked about with the breadth of, you would have these meditations, you would have these experiences where you were experiencing ETs, you were experiencing, all the different kind of invisible realm to most of us. And there were demons also, and I
Yeah.
feel like it's so poignant for where we are with humanity right now, because nobody, I guess people still are to some extent, but how many of us want to stick our heads in the sand and be like, no, 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 it's really getting
Yeah.
real here, and I don't want to
I'm
see
out.
this. I don't want to
Yeah.
do this. I mean, I feel that, and
Yeah.
I, have known the stuff that's coming out is not new to me, but it sure is coming out like a fire hose, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like,
It
oh my
totally is.
God, I can't, I don't, like, I want to shut down, it's like so much to take.
Mm-hmm.
And, but we're all experiencing in the 3D the need to hold that balance, to not look away, to not say like, okay, I'm not going to be able to process this, so I just can't even go there, because we need to go there. We need to not deny what has happened. We need accountability, but if we're going to get accountability, we have to see, we have to acknowledge, we have to be willing to look at it, to think about it, to process it, so that we can advocate, so that we can know what the next best step is to move forward. So you experiencing that in the etheric is such a beautiful parallel for, yeah, maybe there are people listening who are like, well, I don't ever see demons. I don't see angels. I don't see ETs. So this, good for her for doing that. It's not relevant to me. No, there is a parallel, whether you're
Oh, there.
seeing it in the astral or the etheric or
Yeah.
not, because it's here for all of us. But
It's so important that you said that, because people are seeing it. They don't understand that they're
that
seeing
gives me
it.
chills. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's the point.
That's the
That is the point.
manifestation. We're seeing the
Correct.
manifestation of what you're describing,
Yes.
which begins at the energetic. It is
Yeah.
invisible first, but it's been there all along. And
Yeah.
what's coming to light is that manifestation in the 3D of
Mhm.
those dark forces. So
Yeah. Yeah. And that is why the Great Council of Light is here right now, Kara.
mm,
Like, that is why I had to wake up, have the fast track, get the portal, all the things, because it's here right now. Our world is shifting very, very quickly. I've heard you speaking about this on your podcast, so I know your position on this. And that is why the Great Council of Light wants you to work on your frequency. Because as we've experienced just so rapidly in the last 3 months, this is nothing, baby, compared to what is coming. And you need to get your house in order. And this isn't me like being a dictator. This is me saying, you are in control of your reality, no matter what is happening outside in the world. And the council gave me this. I was in the shower yesterday. Maybe they want me to share it today. I shared it yesterday too. They gave me, my job is to really simplistically help the people who don't understand, like you just said, that they are already looking at it and they're going to actually be looking at it in a big way, and they're not going to believe their eyes. So if you think about living with your soul and your spirit first, think about a bicycle and the gears on a bicycle. There's a front and there's a back. And the front is pulling on that chain. If you use your spirit, which is the front, and you have your body and your brain in the back, and you allow your spirit to move you forward, no matter what gets in your way, you can wiggle around it. You can change course. You can turn. You are in control of your reality. So no matter what is presented in the news, in our media, if there's a war, whatever, ETs in the sky, you got it going on. You're completely in control. And how do you do that? By maintaining your frequency, by watching what you consume, your time, your friends, your work, your food, your beverage, your news, your social. Really watching what you're doing. Be the the witness of your world and the choices that you're making. People pulling on you, and people, demonic people. Demonic just means low frequency. It just means the lower and lower and lower and lower you get, the more dense and heavy it gets. And so when waves happen like that, you want to be a strong pin on the bowling lane. You don't want to be just knocked over. That's the whole point. And that's why they're here.
thank you. That makes so much sense. I love that bicycle analogy. That's really
Me too.
powerful.
Yeah.
So I want to talk more about the Great Council of Light. So what can you tell us? I want to know first kind of what you can share. Like, where are they from? I know you said that you're an aspect of them, but is this something with, is it more galactic? Is it more angelic? I know those things aren't necessarily separate, and
Right.
also, we've got to get into more about what they're saying is coming. But let's start with
Yeah.
who they are.
Yeah, totally. So they are ancient creator beings, is how they express themselves. They have a vested interest in humankind because they were and took a part in creation. So you can call them angelics or you can call them ETs. To me, they're
But
the same thing.
they were not incarnate here on the planet as
No,
humans? Okay.
no.
Are they
And
kind of in between dimensions if they were part of the creation?
no,
Okay.
from what I understand. And when I have my mastermind every month, everyone submits questions and I channeled messages. And somebody asked, "There's the council of this. There's the galactic of this. There's this," and they totally broke down what it is. And they say that there are different roles and different groups, and there are different hierarchies, and their purpose is to administer different kinds of information, and all is to support humanity's growth spiritually. And they are here now to support the greatest expansion that humankind has ever experienced or witnessed. And so my people ask me, what systems are these and who are these beings? And like all these complicated questions. That's not my role. That's not my job. My job is to support humankind here now. Like they want everyone to get out of their brain and into the body. It's embodiment time. It's time to really understand your frequency and who you are. So that's one part of it. And it's a vast group of beings, so there's no numeric value to it. I know other people that I believe, and we're finding each other now. There's many people on the planet that are part of this council. It took me a long time to really be able to come out this way. It was, who am I to say that? There's a whole embodiment phase that I've been going through, and I still am in. And they've told me that instantaneous healing is next. They said that a couple of years ago. And then in July, this whole healing technology started. So I'm just on the ride to continue to discover who I am and remember who I am. Some of the things that they have talked about, I put out a prediction video in January of 2025. I think I did one in 2024 too. And I did one this year in 2026. Yeah, there was a prediction that there would be an assassination attempt. I think that was 2024. Yes. A lot of the things that they give me, they only give me what they want me to share that have high probability. So every choice individually and collectively add to the greater timelines that are all out there. There's many, many, many timelines. Things that have high probability, they share with me. And also at the time, they have high probability. And, 2 months from then, everything could have changed. Last year, the 2025 predictions video, they said that people would start falling far from their positions in entertainment, in music, in government, any one of all those main buckets that exist, that the truths of our world would be revealed. They talked about simultaneous attacks happening in the United States. Now, I believe there's a high probability for that this year because they've been sharing this with me the last couple months. They showed me a vision. They show me visions all the time. I share them on my YouTube channel when I receive them, not for likes and clicks and algorithm. When I receive them, I share them. I'm very clear about that. I wake up, they show me, I write it down. Sometimes I draw it. Sometimes I just use words. They showed me an image of a dream. I think it was in July of 2025. It's hard to get my years straight. And I saw a TV set in front of me, and in front of me, they were showing the United States attacking another country. And in this dream, everyone was going, "No, why are we doing that? It's going to start a domino effect. Like if we do this, that's what's going to happen." And we actually did do that last year, but the larger version of it is this year. And then I had another dream recently where they showed me again a TV screen with the ticker tape on the bottom, much like what was happening in COVID. And it was global updates. And it felt like war. I've had so many visions of those sorts of things. It's a lot. I know it's a lot. It's a lot for people to hear, but it's happening. They talked about the beings and the lower frequency density that runs our world, that our world has been entangled in, that it will start to break down last year. It's really at a point now. We're at a pivot point here. People are getting desensitized. They talked about this in the March message I channel one every month for my community. People are getting desensitized to this. I mean, we saw someone get brutally murdered on social media. I mean, mass media, all of our screens saw it. Like, we're getting desensitized to it. We're seeing now the files, these things. I want to get into the details, but we're seeing these ways of being that have existed for many, 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 many lifetimes. They're coming up now. They can't hold anymore. They are breaking down. We are seeing leaders that we have revered, the truths of them coming out. There's more of this coming, everyone. This is why it's imperative now that you really get a practice in place, that you listen to people like Kara and the communities that are around you, and you learn how you can navigate through your life. You start to cut out the things that don't serve you, get really clear, and use your discernment on what do you want to keep in your life, what do you want to get out, and really get like aligned as much as possible so that you're not fearful, you're powerful.
It's so beautiful, so poignant. And it is fascinating, that you're pulling back in terms of, okay, well, last year I was saying that, or they were saying this, and I was
Yeah,
bringing through their message. And like you say, we're in it right now. And so because we're living it, it might, I mean, even though on the one hand, it is very shocking what's
it
happening.
is.
I mean, if anybody would have told us 6 months ago that we are in the position, the different countries that we've invaded, and all the things that have come through in the Epstein files, I go back to like even Deepak, even Deepak is in the files. Like,
Yeah,
what is this world? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I
It's
was
not what we
never
think.
like a follower of his, but I respected his work. I knew who he was, and I had heard
Mhm.
powerful messages from him. So it really gets you thinking of like, God, this world is so inverted.
That's the
And
word. That's the word.
yeah,
That is the
yeah,
word. It's upside down.
right.
Everything you think is real is not. It's all been
Yes,
positioned for us.
right.
That's the glass ceiling that breaks. That's
Oh,
the reality that people don't understand. That is it. We have been put into almost like, you see these shows. I don't know what shows they are, but like this one show, they're in a dome and like their whole world has been created for them. And that's us.
yeah.
We get fed into a system. We get born into financial system, education system, food system, spiritual system, everything, everything. And there's all these ways of being that are circulating around us and things that have been established for us to keep us small. And we are magic. We are magic.
Yeah.
We have energy systems through our bodies. We have clairsenses. We have a pineal gland. We are connected to the omniverse. We are connected to all that is. Like, I mean, think about that. That's who we really are.
Yes. Well, I love that you're sharing this, and it's making me think too. When I was meditating this morning, I was really tuning into this sense of, of course, like the light body that's not new for me. I understand that we are beings of light, that we have a body, we are a soul in a body. But there was a new aspect of embodiment with it, of really seeing myself in like a holographic form, but still in my body, but like this glowing kind of electric, but I mean, it really looked like the same sort of color and dynamic of like the holograms in Star Wars, where it's that like light blue electric kind of thing. And it was like, that was really me. And by bringing my attention to it, I was like, okay, on, like keep intensifying, intensifying. And it just was. And
It's
then
awesome.
that light is connected to everything else. So as we
Mhm.
embody that light, then everything that we are connected with by virtue that is the same frequency is then also getting the opportunity to light up, because it's part of our creation, it's part of our reality. And so that is what a lot of the messaging that you're talking about makes me think about when we think about empowerment. And I'd love to know
Mhm.
if you have more that you can share about empowerment, because again, when we think about the Epstein files, for example, one of the many horrific things that is being brought to the forefront for humanity right now as things break down, that can make a person feel helpless because it's like, okay, yeah, it's disintegrating, and I'm not in power. I'm not in political power. I can't go and change the laws. I can't
Yeah.
even elect anybody right now because we're not in an election cycle. Even if I could, who do I trust? Like, now I'm
Right.
seeing that it doesn't really matter who I elect because they're all in bed together. I mean, literally and
Yeah.
figuratively. So it can make one person feel hopeless.
Yeah.
And so I understand what you're talking about in terms of like the personal power and our ability to navigate our reality. But is there anything else that you can say in terms of how we can facilitate change for humanity in a positive way? Does that make sense?
It does. It's a hard one because it's a journey. And so you have a micro view and then you have a macro view. And your micro view says, I want to create change. I want to, how do I stop this? How do I? So it's making you go within and disconnecting you from oneness, but you don't really understand that. So the macro view is that I am a part of this system and everything is flowing and moving the way that it's supposed to. I am a part of the light that encompasses this planet. And you have to be at a certain point to be able to have this, right? And I know that all of these things are happening for me, not to me. And I witness these experiences. I have a visceral reaction, right? I mean, I can't look at what's about to come out. I know, and I've known all about it for a very long, there's a whole underground world. There's a whole world that people do not even know exists. Many, many things they don't know exist. This is the top of that layers, the top layers. People are witnessing this and it's like appalling. It viscerally affects every part of their body. And when you witness things like that, this is why they want you to work on your frequency. So you're conditioned. You are only human. You're going to have a reaction. It makes me actually ill. It makes me, because I'm a super feeler and I'm a visual creative. I can't look at those things because I'll see it over and over and over again when I close my eyes, right? So I choose, I know how I operate and I know how I function and I know what I can and can't see. And so it's that empowerment part that we're talking about. Like, how am I going to show up in these circumstances? Sometimes you have to have the care of the experiential learning part of it. You have to. It sucks.
Yeah.
But it shows you how you want to show up, like for the next or whatever. And this is what we're being fed right now. So the macro view is, I understand what's happening. I am going to, it's permeating our world, right, with change, but it's permeating our media. It's permeating the dinner table conversations. It's permeating the coffee table at the cocktail hour. It's permeating the water cooler. Like it's all over social media. How am I showing up inside of it? So the council says, when you go to these family gatherings, like, excuse me, I'm going to politely go over here, like have these tactics and strategies inside of you and how you're going to deal with circumstances, how you're going to deal with things that are triggering, what are you going to do a reset for yourself? So what does it take when you see something like that and you have visceral experience? Now, what's the plan, Stan? What are we doing? I'm going to recede. I'm going to go back into my space that's safe. The council in the March message says, and they said this before many times, get a safe space inside of your home where you feel grounded, where you're around things that make you feel a certain sort of way so that you can, it's a conditioning, right? So that you can get and pull back into this mode of I feel safe, I feel grounded, I know where I am, I know who I am, I know my position in all of this. And their tools, their strategies. I just don't believe that we can avoid it because we are living in it.
Yeah.
Some people are not going to be able to handle it. They're not going to be able to handle it. they're going to have like a very, very difficult time. And they asked for that experience. This is their soul contract. They asked for that experience. I asked for this experience right now. You asked for this experience right now. I chose it. I chose to step on it and to be here now to support this shift that's happening. And what I can say right now is if any of this rings true to you, start getting your house in order. Start getting your house in order. Make some strategic decisions. Who are you going to get off of social media with? Who are you going to stop hanging out with? What are you going to do inside your home? You're going to stop wasting your time on nonsense and silly, frivolous conversations? Who cares about, whomever? Like, it's stupid. Yeah. Let it go.
The Super Bowl halftime show. Oh my God. How much attention did that get? Guys, let it go. Like, this is what you're focusing on. Okay. Let's reevaluate.
Yes. Yeah. What are you creating? Like, what's making you feel strong and powerful?
Yeah.
How are you working on, supporting your beloved or your children or whatever?
Yeah.
You talked about your little fur baby. How are you supporting the people around you that you love? Keep them close. And also, for those of you who completely resonate with everything that I'm saying and you understand it, you're the lighthouse now for all of those around you. And you need to be able to be there for them, holding space for them, not saying, I told you so. I told you so. Didn't I share this? This is what I've talked about the last 3 years. No, the council says, share more with me. Tell me what else you know. How can I support you? That's our role right now.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So, you've shared some amazing insights about what the council has said and that they have been talking about this for a while. And that this is, I think a lot of people recognize that the times that we're in have been prophesized for ages by different lineages all across the world. Now, some people say that this is happening like humanity is going to go through a massive uptick in consciousness. It is happening and it is done. We still have work to do, but there is no going back. Other people say that we are still, it's still being decided if we'll make it, if this is going to, actually come to fruition. What does the council get into that with you?
Basically, they're preparing us for what's about to happen. So it's inevitable. It's inevitable. I'm not huge into astrology and, numerology, but there are people around me that support me in that way. And we just started a whole new cycle. I mean, I can be the witness to say that it is magic. It is instant manifestation. It is an amazing energy right now in this 1 year that is just starting. And if you hear this, what are the things in your life that kind of fell off of the game board the last 4 months? What are the things, the people, the processes, the systems, the work, the relationships, whatever? That was them going away because it's now time for this strong creator to be in the magic of everything that you deserve, that's available to you. Saying that, Kara says, this shift is happening for the betterment of all of us. That is here for the betterment of our experience, for the betterment of us and our place on planet Earth, and for a better experience. It's happening. I don't know how to say it other than it's happening. It's going to be when I went to channel the 2026 predictions video. I always still go in like a kid, like give me a good message. I need to serve them. I need to, and I do it.
Make it good.
Yeah, make it good because I'm so I care so much about it. And they went, oh, what a year indeed. They get like all excited, and it's going to be, our soul asked for this. Great. I mean, some people didn't want to come back in this version of this time of our cycle, and other people were like on the roller coaster, like, can't wait, sign me up.
Yeah. Do they give a sense of timing?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just it's coming. Buckle
Yeah.
up.
Sometimes they're really good with timing, but yeah, no. Yeah, because the simultaneous attacks. Yeah, it was such a strong message. And I saw last year, I saw the multiple visions of it and things. And now I've seen this war I hate saying the word war, but it is escalating. That could be the way that this country attacks. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? I've seen things with China. I've seen so many things. And so who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah.
Wow. Well, I have so many questions here, and we're running out of time, but can you tell us about the soul's natural architecture and how you help people to restore it?
Yeah. So we come in here as, our divine blueprint is perfection. And as we go, it's our ethereal body, it's our energetic body, it's the system that runs this dense three-dimensional body. And as we travel through our lifetimes and we have experiences that create little ticks or tarnishes or infractures, what the council says, on our soul body, it creates attributes that we bring with us to different lives, and I've been healing a lot of them in this lifetime, and I'm still healing, and that's the journey of the human experience. I'm able to go in. Who ever thought I would be doing this, Kara? It's so cool. It's so cool.
It's amazing.
I know, it's
love
been
it.
6 months. Like January turned 6 months, and it's just expanding
So
and
this
expanding.
is what came through in July that you mentioned
This
earlier.
is what started in July. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm able to, and since July, I've had this different pieces of technology put into my body, which is a whole other thing, which is amplifying the healing process. But what I do is I go in through frequency. This energy comes out of me, and I'm able to go in. It started out with just the energy body, and now it's starting to move into the physical body, which is really interesting
For
too.
you.
And the whole, for me, no,
Mhm.
for the
For
people I
the
work with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that just started. And that's forming the picture of the instantaneous healing. I think that when all of that, that picture forms, that's what that work will be. But anyway, I'm able to go in through these languages and codes that were put into me. This frequency comes out of me. This pressure and energy transmission happens. So I'm able to send energy to the soul body, and then I'm able to activate dormant light codes inside of the energy body. And I'm actually able to heal the fractures in the energy body, all this stuff.
Wow.
And then there was one time when I was like in someone's womb. Like I was working on someone's kidneys a couple weeks ago. For my mastermind, they submit messages or questions, and I channel messages about them. And I was sitting in channel, preparing for my mastermind. I started doing this frequency stuff, and then I heard that I was healing this woman's name in her kidneys. So when we went to the mastermind that night, I said to her, "I was working on your kidneys," and she went, "Oh my God, Pamela, I just set an intention yesterday to get off of this kidney medication." I didn't know anything about her relationship with her kidneys. It's not like we talk about that.
Yeah.
I know. So then I'm like, wow, show me more, show me more. But I do this container. It's a 3-month container. And I say this because this is why it's so important. People come in, everyone says, "I want to know my soul's purpose." Okay, sure you do. Everybody wants to know their soul's purpose. In order to get there, to even be able to conceive it, understand it, you have to align to it. We have to heal the soul body. So when we start working together, and it's a container that's created, and the council and whomever come, if there's deceased ancestors down the lineage line, like whomever, people from this life, if it's certain guides that come through, if it's a past life that comes through that needs to be healed immediately, which is what happened with someone. It was the most impactful life that they ever had. And now open them up to not have fear, to be able to start awakening to their gifts. But whatever comes is supposed to come, and it helps them understand who they are, heal past life stuff, this life stuff, whatever, raise their frequency and go, "Oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing." And then I do business coaching to help them with the business that they do, which just manifested at the end of last year, real time. It's cool. But it doesn't even have to be complicated stuff. Like it might just be someone who's really kind of set in their ways and really identifies themselves with a past bag of behavior and this bag of what they identify as. It could just be the slightest bit of clarity that turns the dial just this much that changes everything. It's so cool.
Wow.
I have to stop saying cool because I say cool like 17,000 times every time. It's amazing. I love it. It's so much
Yeah.
fun.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.
That is amazing. Wow, how
Yeah.
beautiful. So it's a
Thank you.
combination of like energy
Everything.
healing and then also some like spiritual guidance and just
Divine wisdom from them. Yeah.
yeah. Wow.
Ancestral healing. I had ancestors come who were really directly related to this one woman's desire and what she wanted to heal. These ancestors, two of them came and stood there, and the council said, "You must recede, but you may be present." And it's almost like in a shamanic journey. They came to support the healing because it was imperative, because they created this journey, this thread through the DNA. And like, I was like,
Wow.
yeah,
So when you
yeah,
say when you were talking about that, you said there were technologies that were placed inside your
yeah.
body. Can you talk a little
Hmm.
bit about that?
Yes. The first time it came in, this new set of guides came in to support the work I'm doing with the council, and actually the high aspect of myself. She said her name. She came in, and there was this energy. There was this technology that was inserted in my heart. So I'm in a trance state because I'm working with them, and it was like profound and very. It was uncomfortable, but it didn't hurt. Pressure that like went into my heart, and then I the next day that I went to work with them, it got ignited, and this energy like went through my arms, out my fingers, and I could feel it like moving like threads. And there was one time that they locked this sounds crazy, but I could feel it. They put this like device or something on my hand, and I could feel this stuff coming through. They work on different parts of my back. And at this point, I just allow, because I know that what I'm doing is changing lives, supporting people, and I'm open to it. And they've said that this aspect of myself, and they gave me the name, I created that with her. It's a she, it's an energy that's feminine. And I am remembering it and pulling upon it, just like all the other things I've done to create this and do this work, this healing work.
Wow. That's so fascinating. It actually
Yeah.
makes me think of an experience I had last week because I did this thing called a Lucia Light. It's Lucia Light 3.
Okay.
And it is like a light that goes kind of at your crown. Like I was lying down on a massage table and there was this light that was flickering. And there are a couple of different, there's another one like the Roxia, I think it's called, something like
Mm.
that. Um, but it flickers and you listen to music. I was listening to some like plant medicine music, I think is what she said, but I wasn't the only, it induces like a psychedelic experience, but I hadn't taken it, hadn't ingested anything. So it was all this light and the rhythm that it was flickering at and the music together. And it really is like you're on a psychedelic journey. Like you're seeing all of these patterns and images, and it was like a journey and fascinating. It's an hour long. I'd done it once before, like 6 months ago, but at one point toward the end, it felt like somebody punched me in the solar plexus. It was
Yeah.
so sudden, totally unexpected because I'm just paying attention to these visuals. I'm like hardly even noticing my body. And all of a sudden I like make this involuntary like, ugh, like and I physically felt some sort of spasm right in my
Yeah.
solar plex, right in the
Yeah.
solar plexus. And I have been very curious about that because I'm like, that is so bizarre. Yeah, so it was really fascinating to have that physical response. And then it just the way that you're describing what you had with your heart, I'm
Mhm.
curious to see like, will something unlock from that? Or I haven't yet had like a something that I can say, oh, here was the cause and here's the effect. I haven't had that direct thing yet, but
Did you ask?
mm, I don't think I did.
There you go.
That's yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. And if you don't, you don't hear something immediately, just continually ask, open heart,
Yeah.
or try to automatic write. Just start writing about the experience and just
That's
see
a
what
good
comes
idea.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good
it's
idea.
cool. Yeah. I mean, sometimes we need you know, a little trigger for an idea. I love collaboration and co-creation. I think it's fun. So I work best that way. And I just think there's so much to be explored and discovered.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. Well, I want to be respectful of your time. I know we went a little bit over. I apologize for that. I've loved this conversation. I hope you'll come back at some point.
Yes.
Please tell people how they can connect with you and find out more.
For sure. Thank you for asking. So the community I've been discussing is spirit-calling.com. I built a really cool thing. It took me a couple of years to understand how to do this. I built a ladder. It's a quiz. So you can go and take this quiz, and it's, technology, and you just kind of fill in the answers, and you find out where you are on your spiritual path. So maybe you're in a different place than you thought you were, and you get, the answer and information sent to you, kind of giving you some tools how to move forward in it, some suggestions of the offerings that I offer, and the council can support you. And that's all right there on my homepage and my Work with Pamela page. Just explore it. But I do have a page where I'm able to give people some free downloads and some information, and that's spirit-calling.com/podcast. I have an Ascension symptoms free download. I have some daily quotes from the council that might support you on your journey as you're trying to calibrate for the recalibration. And I just launched something new that I'm really excited about. And it's another one of those containers that I have no idea what's going to happen. It's called Ask Pamela Live. And I get so many messages on all my platforms, in my inbox, on my email, like everywhere, saying people want someone to talk to about an experience that they had, about a download, a situation, a dream, something, and they don't have anyone to talk to. I met with someone last night. She said, I have no one in my entire world that I can speak with. I said, get your butt to the community, because we're talking about this stuff like every day. And it's called Ask Pamela Live. It's on the first Thursday of every single month. And then I'm doing a workshop. It's called Answer the Call. And I'm working with people one-on-one for like a 4-hour container in a group setting. And we are learning how to raise our frequency. We are getting energy transmissions and downloads and guidance. And it's the coolest. It's a fun container to play in and to receive from. And my channels are Spirit Calling Pamela. So TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Insta. Come and follow me on YouTube. Get the messages and the downloads, especially now. I think that would be like the one thing you make sure that you want to do.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. I've really loved every second of this. I'm so grateful that we got together. So thank you again for coming on Soul Elevation.
Thank you for having me. I had a wonderful time as well. I'd love to come back.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Soul Elevation. If someone in your life would be inspired or uplifted by what you heard today, please take a moment to share it with them. These are the kinds of conversations that ripple out and elevate collective consciousness. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the powerful episodes ahead. Your presence, energy, and support truly help amplify this mission of raising frequency and anchoring in a more awakened humanity. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you for the next episode of Soul Elevation.